This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel Strat-O-Matic Baseball Excel Game of the Week.
Welcome back, baseball fans. The 1979-82 Fall League Game of the Week, and we have a special play-in game. Regular season is over. Playoffs have not begun yet. But for this particular offseason, we have two ties in the American League and the National League for teams trying to get that number 6 seed, the sixth and final playoff seed. I guess we should look at the standings. In the American League, Oakland is 4 over 500, as is Baltimore. And after all the tie-breaking rigmarole, the best thing I decided to do was simply play a game. Same scenario will happen in the National League as well. As the Braves, just a game over 500, and so is Vegas, just a game over 500. That's how narrow the National League was. Meanwhile, teams like the Pirates are a game under, Cardinals are at 500, Arizona's at 500. Dodgers a game under 500, Giants a game under. That's how close it really was. It would have been a total mess if we had like a 6 or 7 way tie. But anyway, so it's the Orioles and the Oakland A's. Winner of this game will get to play Milwaukee a day later in the official wild card game. National League, and we'll get to that in a bit. It will be Atlanta going to Las Vegas, and the winner of that goes into that wild card game against Portland. The wild card 6 goes up against the 3. So this is, in the American League at least, this is a pretty cool little era here. Baltimore, 79-83, they'd be in 2 World Series. Oakland has kind of rebuilt their team from the purge of Charlie Finley. They hired Billy Martin in 1980, and they had pretty good teams in 80 and 81. So you have Billy Martin versus Earl Weaver, but it's not the Yankees Orioles, it's Oakland and the Orioles. And for this one game, winner take all, let's go. We'll just show you how we fit the pitchers in here. So this area here was the final game of the season. And then we had a day off, and then we'll have the wild card game, and then a day off, and then the divisional round of the playoffs will begin. So Baltimore, Mike Flanagan pitched yesterday. He's not available. So Jim Palmer for Baltimore. They'll have McGregor in the wild card game if they win. For Oakland, Steve McCatty in this game, and Rick Langford in the wild card game if they win. So let's get back here, and let's go over the pitching again. Steve McCatty, boy, his 1981 was his best year of his career. 14-7, 2.32 ERA, led the league in ERA, I believe, at 186 innings. His best year, starter 9. And for Baltimore, it is Jim Palmer, who in 1982 had his best year in 4. And 78 was his last 20-win year. And then 79, 80, 81, he was kind of meh. And then 82, though, he was 15-5 with a 3.13 ERA in 227 innings. He actually did play in something a little similar to this. He played in a game 162 versus the Milwaukee Brewers in 1982. Didn't pitch very well, unfortunately. Robin Yount for the Brewers had a big day that day, clinching the American League East for the Milwaukee Brewers, who later went on for the World Series. So Palmer has been used to the pressure for these things. He's been very successful a lot of times, occasionally a dud. But boy, what a great classic battle. Some great Hall of Famers here on both sides, beginning with the first one, leading off for the Oakland A's, the greatest leadoff hitter in history, Rickey Henderson. 67 is a K. Dwayne Murphy, 2-7 is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Gene Tennis. 58 flies to right. Jim Palmer off to a great start. Bottom half, it's Al Bunbury. 53, left X. Henderson's a 2-7 in left field. And he misplays it into a double. Wow. So if you're wondering about this Oakland outfield, this was another big deal in the American League in 1980. Rickey Henderson in left, Dwayne Murphy in center, Tony Armas in right. They probably should have all been ones. This is like the best defensive outfield in baseball in this time. But they made Henderson a 2, while Murphy and Armas were ones. And that 2 just turned into a double. So that's a huge break early on for Baltimore. Batting second, Rich Dower. 1-3 grounds to short. Now you have Kenny Singleton. 2-9 flies to center. With 2 outs, it's Eddie Murray. 66 pops out. McCaddy battles back. Top of 2. Wayne Gross. 45, double 1-7 is a base hit. Tony Armas. 2-6 is a K. Tony Soleta. 35 is a walk. 2 on for Phil Garner. 2-7 is single dot for Phil Garner, and that's an RBI, and the A's have a lead, 1-zip. Runners in the corners, they'll bring it up for Keith Drumright. Uh-oh, Palmer struggling now. 45, double 1-7 is a double. And Oakland's got a 2-0 lead. Runners at second and third. They'll bring the infield up for Ted Martinez, 6'10", third X. This is Ripken, a 2E14 at third, makes the play. With 2 outs, Rickey Henderson. 3-10, flies to left. Well, Oakland gets 2 runs. 1 game and you're out, so you could, bring in all sorts of pitchers for this. But remember, if you do that, you still have to play a game tomorrow against Milwaukee, and then your pitching staff could get all messed up. So, and you don't really want to quick hook a Hall of Famer like Jim Palmer anyway. Bottom of 2, it's Pat Kelly. 1-6. Let's take a look at this card of Pat Kelly, batting 5th, 79, 288, 9 home runs. His best offensive year in Baltimore. Had a big home run in that 1979 American League Championship Series against the Angels. That is gone, and Baltimore cuts the lead in half. Cal Ripken. 1-4, bounce to short. Lowenstein, 59, second. And with 2 outs, it's Rick Dempsey. 2-11, skies the center. Top of the third, it's Dwayne Murphy, 5'10", catcher's card. Dempsey's catching today instead of, they have Joe Nolan, but Nolan's not a very good defensive throwing catcher, and with all this Oakland speed, they decided to go with Dempsey against a right-handed pitcher today. Gene Tennis, 38's a walk. Wayne Gross, 38 is a pop to second, and with 2 outs, Tony Armas, 47 is single, 1-11, gets it. 2 on, 2 outs for Tony Soleta. 1-8-4, let's take a look at this guy. Tony Soleta, 1979 last year in baseball, 265, but can hit righties very well with power, 17 walks, 100 at-bats. Oakland still has the great on base in this era they were known for previously during their dynasty, and that they were also known for in the Billy Moneyball era, a couple decades later. So they always draw walks. 1-8 here, though, is a base hit to right field. And you can run Tennis. He was on second. 11, 12, 13 against the Singleton Army. He's going to run on a 12, and he scores. And it's 3-1. Phil Garner, 5'11", is a K. Palmer struggling here early on. Len Sakata, 1-5 pitcher. Al Bumbry, 48 is a walk. Double-A stealing Bumbry, -1 arm catcher, down a couple. And you could have Dower hit and run if you wanted to. And Dower's going to hit and run. Runner has to steal. This is going to be close. He's going to be in there by a whisker. Now Dower has to swing away after swinging through the hit and run pitch. 46, though, is double 1, single ... and that's a base hit and an RBI, and the Orioles will cut the lead to 3-2 with 1 out. Ken Singleton. 48 is a walk. 2 on for Eddie, Eat, Drink, and B. Murray. 3-11 flies to right. And with 2 outs, it's the Reverend Pat Kelly with the big blast and inning a go. 37 is a K. Nice game, 3-2. A lot of offense early. Off two pretty good pitchers. In the fourth, it's Keith Drumright. 3-10, flies to right. Ted Martinez, 1-8, bounce to short, and with 2 outs, it's Henderson. 2-10, short. Bottom of the fourth, Ripken will lead it off. 1-10 for Cal is a base hit. John Lowenstein. 2-9, let's take a look at Lolo. John, let it be Lowenstein. 311 hitter in 1980. Had some big moments for the Orioles in a brief period from 79 to 82. Well, this timeline, as a matter of fact. And 2-9 is double 1-7, single dot dot. That's a double. You got runners at second and third, down a run. Dempsey, with no one out, they're going to play it back. They don't want to surrender a 2-run single off of defense, off of the plus. 6-10 is short X. Ted Martinez is a 3-23 at short. And that's going to be a single off the 3 shortstop. So Oakland, I mean, they're a good team, but they do have their weaknesses here. They have a very average bottom half of this lineup. They got Ted Martinez at short, Keith Drumright at second, Tony Slade at DH. Really, the crux of this team is at the top. And the shortstop defense just gave up a single. Game's tied at 3 with runners on the corners. We'll play back for Sakata. Looking for a double play. 3-6, pops to third. Now with 1 out and a tie game, they're going to bring it up. They have a chance to get out of this inning without being behind. We'll play for the tie and bring it up for Al Bumbry. 4-10 Bumbry is center X. This could score a sac fly, but he's a 1E9 in center field. You got to stay out of the fly ball 8, which is what that is. Now you got to plug the E rating in, which is 9 for Murphy. And it's a fly ball 8 anyway. Great play by Dwayne Murphy and his cannon-like arm, and no, that is not a sac fly. And the game is still tied with 2 outs now for Rich Dower. 38, grounds to short. It was a plus, but the runner at first was not being held on. It was Dempsey. So, really interesting game. It's a 3-3 tie. Baltimore's put 1 man on more than Oakland as we go to the 5th. It'll be Dwayne Murphy. 58 is a fly to center. Gene Tennis, 66, is a pop to first. Wayne Gross, 1-5. Let's take a look at Wayne Gross. 1980, 281, 14 homers. Really a platoon third base, first base guy, because doesn't hit lefties very well. Eventually he moves on to Baltimore, believe it or not. So he plays for both Oakland and Baltimore in this timeline. 1-5 is gone, and there go the A's again. In a seesaw affair here. Back to a 4-3 lead. Tony Armas. 39 is a single. And with 2 outs, the dangerous now Tony Saleta, who has reached twice, scored a run, knocked in a run. 46, and he comes through with a base at the left field. Armas will not make the final out at third. And you got Phil Garner. And I got to think about this. I mean, Palmer's not his point of weakness, but is there really a better reliever than Jim Palmer on this team, particularly this early in the game when you can make all sorts of moves late? No. So Palmer's going to continue, even though he's given up about 10 or so hits here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's given up 8 hits and a few walks. So you've got runners on the corners, and it's Phil Garner, who got a RBI single in the second inning. Here's the pitch to Garner. 2-4 is a grounder to short. So it stays a 1-run game, 4-3. Now back to McCaddy. He's had his struggles here. Not been able to have a scoreless inning since the first. It's Ken Singleton. 46 is a base hit. Eddie, eat, drink, Emby Murray. 4-4 off of McCaddy. This is Homer, 1-3. Fly ball the rest, and unfortunately, that's a fly ball the rest for Eddie Murray. That's a sign of a good pitcher. You know, the 4-4 card. Great pitchers will have Homer on something, fly ball the rest, and that's what McCaddy had. That's why he has a 2.32 ERA instead of a 3.32 ERA. It would have been gone otherwise. Pat Kelly. 1-8. Boy, Pat Kelly's having a day. 1-8. Double 1 to 16 is a 2-base hit. You got second and third with 1 out. They are going to bring the infield up. You hit it through the hole. It's a 2-run single, but they also don't want to surrender the lead. So they're going to bring it up for Cal Ripken. 6-10, short X with the infield up. Now you got this shortstop you scored a run off of earlier. The 3E23 Ted Martinez. 3. And there it is again. A single knocked out off the 3 Ted Martinez. That scores 2 runs. Oh my. Tough break for Oakland. And really, that's not, 3E23 is not bad at all. Matter of fact, Sakata's a 3E32. They've got Belanger on the bench. Maybe not for much longer now that Baltimore just got a lead as a 1-8 shortstop. But Baltimore's got a 5-4 lead, and Mr. McCaddy, neither pitcher is in danger of point of weakness, but they've been really sloppy performers here. So, 5-4, Ripken's at first for John Lowenstein. 46, again, base hit right field. You could go coast to coast with Ripken, but you've got Tony Armas out there, and he's got a -3 arm. So that squashes that notion. Ripken goes to second, just 1 out. McCaddy's given up 7 hits in the last 2 innings. So normally, if I get a point of weakness prematurely here, I always count 10 hits in the first 3 frames, 12 in the first 4, 15, or some combination of 4 walks and 8 hits, and then, probably need 15 base runners through 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So no. And again, just to reiterate, Steve McCaddy's a starter 9. So he certainly should not hit a point of weakness in the 5th inning. First and second, and you got the Dipper, Rick Dempsey. 3-5! You can't believe this! Take a look, folks. Rick Dempsey. 1980 Rick Dempsey. Probably his best offensive year in Baltimore. A .262 average. 9 home runs. He would be the MVP of the '83 World Series. Only getting the start today because Joe Nolan has a bad throwing arm, and they were worried Ricky Henderson would run around the bases all day long. 3-5 for Dempsey is homer, 1-5, double the rest. Misses the homer, he'll take the double, 1 run scores. Lowenstein won't take on the other -3 arm of Dwayne Murphy. Like I said, Oakland, this is one of the best defensive outfields in the sport. So, it's second to third now in a 6-4 game, and you got number 9 hitter Len Sakata at the plate with 1 out. They're going to bring it up. They can't let this thing get away. Pitch to Sakata. 2-11 is a base hit because you brought the infield up. So let's take a look at the Sakata card here. So 2-11, short B plus. You had the infield up. If you have the infield back, 1 run scores. You have the infield up, it turns into a single, 2 run score. Either way, this game is slipping away from McCaddy. That's a 2-run single. And now I'm at the point. He's only going to get 2 more batters in this inning, and if one of them reaches, that's going to be it. We'll let somebody else finish the 5th inning. So, Baltimore, a 2-run single there. A lot of lucky breaks and lucky rolls in this. It'll be Al Bunbury. 2-6 for Bunbury is single ... That puts him on the corners, and the final batter will be Rich Dower. You have to hold Bunbury. But I think you're going to play it back because you desperately need a double play here with Rich Dower. Dower doesn't have power either. And McCaddy's really good against right-handed batters minus giving up home runs. So playing back, crossing the fingers, hoping for a double play. Bunbury could steal in this situation, though I prefer to steal with 0 or 2 outs, so he will not. And Dower will swing away. Here's the pitch. 3-7 for Rich Dower. Let's take a look at his card, folks. It's coming up. Orioles, a cascade of fantastic fortune, really, when you look at this. Kelly hit his homer card. Singleman, Lowenstein, Dempsey, Sakata got a plus. Bunbury and Dower all got hits on their own cards. So really, none of this was off of McCaddy's card. This is all off of Baltimore's players. 3-7's a single to right field, and that was single to third. Yeah, it was single to that. That will score the run. It's a single to right field. Bunbury won't take on that arm either, as this game that is getting out of control here now. It is now 9-4, and that'll do it, folks. My goodness. So yeah, probably beyond the point of weakness that I normally use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, yeah, 16. It was just a disaster, unfortunately, for Steve McCaddy. Like I said, one of the greatest pitchers in the 1981 season, just in a one-game winner-take-all for the playoffs, just faded horribly here. And now you have Bunbury at second, Dower at first, still just one out. And you have Singleton and Murray. I guess I'll go with Jamie Easterly here. Jamie Easterly will come on in the bottom of the fifth with just, that's actually 4 1/3. Make sure I get that right. Yeah, 4 1/3. So Jamie Easterly will come on in the fifth. Of course, they bat around, so you put the results here. Face Ken Singleton, who started the inning with one of the 8 Baltimore hits. These Orioles have been cursed with bad team batting average. You've been following this fall league, you know it, folks. They did win the World Series a couple years ago. Lost the league championship to California a year ago. They haven't hit above 230 as a team. And at least for 5 innings of a play-in game, they look like a world beater, folks. So first and second, 1 out, and the pitch to Kenny Singleton. 47 off Easterly is a K. And with 2 outs, it'll be Eddie Murray. 2-2 fouls to the catcher. And it's all over here finally in the 5th inning. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, top of the 6th for Palmer, 5-run lead. Now, he hasn't really earned the credentials to pitch deep into this game. So the minute the A's bats heat back up again, I think they're going to pull him. But maybe he'll settle down. Top of the 6th, it'll be Keith Drumright. 55 off Palmer's short X. Now, this was a mistake to not get Belanger in there at shortstop sooner. Sakata's a 3-30 at short, and he makes the play. Ted Martinez, who has surrendered a couple hits on his defense, which is unfortunate for him. Otherwise, he's a pretty decent player. 69, skies the center, and with 2 outs, it's Ricky Henderson. 67 is a strikeout. So, folks, at least through this point, we can see that, the Orioles did make the playoffs, World Series in this timeline. We knew Oakland was really good, but they didn't really do much of anything when they did go to the playoffs. And you see it paying off in that manner today. Bottom of the 6th. Easterly will continue. And Pat Kelly will actually, he'll stay in the game and swing away here. 1-6 is a walk against a left-handed pitcher. It's a homer versus a righty. We left him in there. Cal Ripken. 59 short X. Here's Mr. Martinez, a 3-E. 23, right? I've looked at this 3 times now. I should have remembered. 3E23. It's a ground ball C. Kelly at second for Lowenstein. 4-9 lines third. And with 2 outs, it's Rick Dempsey, who it was really Rick Dempsey's blow here that really broke everything up. Could have been a home run. Settled for a double. Then after that, the walls kind of caved in on the caddy. Pitch to Dempsey. 52, flies to left. Pretty good inning and 2/3 from Jamie Easterly. Baltimore is actually, they're going to do it. They're not fooling around. They're going to put Belanger at shortstop now. As we go to the 7th inning. Palmer continues. This is his breaking inning. A couple batters will get him out of there. 5-run lead. You might need your bullpen against Milwaukee tomorrow if you win, but that's the only trade-off here. Dwayne Murphy. 4-9 off Palmer is second X. This is Dower, who is a 2-E8 at second base, makes the play. Gene Tennis, 5'11", is a K. And with 2 outs, it's Wayne Gross, homered earlier, 54. Pops to short, Jim Palmer. Check it out, folks. He has gotten 7 in a row since losing the lead in the 5th. The Orioles rallied, and he's settled down nicely. Stretch time here in Baltimore. They are enjoying the offensive splurge that they don't normally get. We are enjoying Crack the Sky's 1975 debut, featuring Ice, Hold On, She's a Dancer. Crack the Sky, very popular on the radio in Baltimore and Maryland during the timeline there. Let's get back to the game. Bottom of the 7th. Easterly's going to inning in 2/3. He's a relief 2. Belanger's actually a decent hitter against lefties. They have a couple lefties and righties. Look at Dave Beer down the 7th. You know, it's a real shame for Oakland. They really have invested nicely in their starting pitching. McCaddy, Langford, Matt Keogh. They also had Brian Kingman and Mike Norris in this timeline. We've given them Tom Underwood to give them a lefty. But here it's, you know, having to go to your bullpen in the 5th inning really puts his team behind the 8 ball. Mark Belanger leads off. 1-3, lines are short. Al Bumbry. 58, second X. Drum right's a 3-10. Makes the play. And with 2 outs, Rich Dower, 44, short X. Ted Martinez. And he makes another play. A little too late for Ted. Top of the 8th. Now Palmer can stretch out a little bit. Now that he's got a 5-run lead and now just 6 outs to get, and he's got 2 back-to-backs, 3 up and 3 down innings. Now the longer he goes, the more you can use your bullpen against Milwaukee in the next game on their schedule. So it'll be Tony Armas leading off. They have Tippy Martinez, Tim Stoddard, and Sammy Stewart. And their long man is John D'Acquisto. They signed as a free agent. He would most likely be brought in if Palmer hits point of weakness. Tony Armas, 4-4 off Palmer. That is gone. Automatic shot, and it's a 9-5 game. A's within a grand slam suddenly. And now you got Tony Saleta, and Palmer cannot figure this guy out. 2 for 2 plus a walk, running an RBI. 4-5, Tony Saleta, double 1-7 is a base hit, and that will just about do it. That is going to do it for Palmer. So he cannot go beyond 7. Really give up a lot of base runners in this game. 5 runs, earned runs as well. And, yeah, Baltimore needs to get 6 outs. You'd like to divvy this up. You'd like to bring in somebody who doesn't walk hitters. You got Garner, Drumright, and Martinez. But you also don't want to waste your premier closers here. And they'll go Tippy Martinez. They'll bring in their lefty now instead of waiting to bring their lefty in. Hopefully, maybe just have him go a single inning so he's available tomorrow. Tippy Martinez will come out of the Baltimore bullpen. Brilliant year in 79. 10-3, 288 ERA in 78 innings. Baltimore's closer in 79 was Don Stanhouse, and Baltimore let him go. Had no interest in signing him, and they do a bullpen by committee. They have Tippy, Tim Stoddard, and Sammy Stewart closing games. So Tippy Martinez will come on in to face Phil Garner, who is actually better against right-handed pitchers than left-handed pitchers. With a runner at first and nobody out, the pitch to Phil Garner. 110, Garner reaches on a single, and Oakland's got something going here in the 8th. They got 2 runners on. Keith Drumright, he will leave. Oakland's confident they're not going to hook Tippy Martinez, so they could go just about with any of these pinch hitters. Kind of want to stay out of a double play if possible. They're going to go Cliff Johnson here, figuring that even if you go to the pen, Cliff Johnson's got a really good chance of homering against a righty as well. Let's take a look at Cliff Johnson's card. He was with Cleveland in '79. 20 homers and a .270 batting average. Tippy, though, is very good against righties, and he's got another righty, Martinez, behind him. Plus, a home run here doesn't tie the game. And they are hoping for a double play. They got Belanger, Dower, Ripken, and Murray in the infield, all ones or twos. So Tippy will pitch to Cliff Johnson with 2 on and nobody out. Here's the pitch. 1-3 for Cliff Johnson is a 6-4-3 double play off the Johnson card. Really, all of the pinch hitters I talked about, Jesus Alou, Paul Dade, they all have ground ball short A or something like that on that dice roll. So it's a double play. Saleta ends up at third. There's 2 outs now. And it's Ted Martinez. Here's the pitch to Ted. 67 is a walk. And now we're back to 2 men on. Back up top, Ricky Henderson's very good against lefties. You know, we're going to pull Mr. Tippy Martinez here in this situation. And we'll go to Tim Stoddard. Baltimore's conserving their bullpen a little bit. They still have 4 more outs to get, and they have a 4-run lead with 2 men on base. So Tim Stoddard, another sub-2 ERA, 171 in 58 innings in '79. Will become their closer in 1980. So Stoddard comes on here in the 8th. And he will face Ricky Henderson. We have Saleta at third. We have Ted Martinez at first. And here's the pitch to Ricky Henderson. 35, ball 4. And now you got Dwayne Murphy. Well, this is what Baltimore wanted. Was Stoddard's very good against lefties, but this is what Oakland wanted. They just wanted to stay within a grand slam. They got all these sluggers on this team. Murphy, 27 homers. Tennis, 20. Armas, 35. Cliff Johnson, you saw at 20. So here we go, folks. We suddenly have the bases loaded with 2 outs in a 9-5 game, and it's Dwayne Murphy. We got to flash his card up. Not a lot of difference on the home runs. Lefty versus righty for Dwayne, who hit .239, but had 27 homers in 1982, and is an ace stealer. Here we go. Here's the pitch to Dwayne Murphy. 1-9. Dwayne Murphy draws your bases loaded walk, and they are getting really upset here in Baltimore. Now it is a 9-6 game. The bases are loaded. All the guys on the bases reached via a walk. Tippy Martinez walked Teddy Martinez, and Stoddard has walked Henderson and Murphy, and now it's Gene Tennis. Speaking of walks, let's take a look at Gene. 105 walks in '79 with a .263 average. He did that with the Padres, and Stoddard's in a whole bunch of trouble. All he needs to do is get an out here in a 9-6 game. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The pitch to Gene Tennis. 65 off of Stoddard is a fly ball to right field. The Orioles barely hang on there in the 8th, but it's a 9-6 game now. Oakland, you got to start attacking. They're going to go to Bob Lacey, their closer here. Probably their best reliever they have. They don't. Their relievers they have are pretty good. They're just untested. In other words, Jeff Jones only pitched 44 innings, and then Bob Lacey only pitched 80 innings, and he led all relievers in innings pitched. Very underused bullpen for Billy Martin. So Bob Lacey, his stats again, 3-2, 293 ERA in 80 innings. So he did very well, underused. In the 8th, Oakland, Cliff Johnson came in as a pinch hitter, so they need a second baseman. So Saleta will leave. Garner will go over to second base. Paul Dade will go over to third base. And there we go. Bottom of the 8th. Bob Lacey. He will face Ken Singleton, leading off in the bottom of the 8th. 110 is a K. Eddie Murray, 53, right X, but you got the 1E10 of Armas. But Armas, very high E rating, a 10 right fielder. That's a 2-base error. Big break for Baltimore again. They've gotten a lot of breaks today. Now you're going to get a pinch hitter here. Batting for Pat Kelly, hitting at lefties very well. It will be Benny Ayala. And if you're Oakland, you can either go to your last pitcher in your bullpen, Jeff Jones, and then you're out of pitchers. But then again, you do have access to these other starting pitchers. Ayala hits lefties very well. You just brought Lacey in. You could walk Ayala, but then you got Cal Ripken and Lowenstein after that. I think they're going to walk Ayala to set up a double play here out of Cal Ripken, who's hit into a lot of those in his career. So Ayala intentionally walked. So now you can set up the double play, playing back for Cal Ripken against Bob Lacey. Here's the pitch. 69 off of Lacey is homer. 1-6, double the rest, and that's going to be a 2-base hit. That scores Eddie Murray, and it's 10-6. A wild affair in Baltimore. Great pitching staffs, and naturally, of course, we get a 16-run game. 10-6. Runners at second and third, 1 out. They got to bring it up now for the lefty Lowenstein. 58, he pops to first, and with 2 outs, Rick Dempsey pitched to the Dipper. 1-8 is a grounder to short. So they got that run to make it 10-6, back to a grand slam lead. And it'll be Wayne Gross, and then after that, it's all righties. So they're going to probably pull Stoddard and go to Sam Stewart. So Wayne Gross to lead off in the 9th inning in a 10-6 game. Here's the pitch. 6-11, pitcher X. Stoddard's an E24. And that's a GBA. All right, Stoddard will leave. So he's really good against lefties. And Sam Stewart will try and finish this game out. The third Baltimore reliever. He's trying to get a couple outs, keep him fresh for tomorrow. Sam Stewart. Actually, you know, Sam Stewart tied. According to this, it's funny, they have Sam Stewart allegedly won the ERA title in 1981. Though I'm looking directly at these cards, and McCaddy's ERA is 2.32, and Stewart says 2.33 on here. In any event, you know, those two guys had the top 2 ERAs in the strike year of 81. 4-8, 2.33, and 112 innings. Arguably Sammy Stewart's best year in 1981. He got a World Series ring in 1983 with Baltimore. He comes on in the 9th to face Tony Armas, who homered his last time up. The pitch to Tony Armas. 2-5 is a grounder to short, and with 2 outs, it's all up to Paul Dade, brought in there to play in the infield once they pinch hit Cliff Johnson an inning ago. So here's Paul Dade. 1-7 Dade, single 1-16, and he rolls a 17. Oh my goodness. 1-16 to continue the Oakland season. He rolls a 17 and lines out. Real tough, bitter pill for Oakland. This is a rather disappointing finish for Oakland. They lose 10-6. Baltimore got a ton of breaks in this game. Plus, they had an entire inning of rolling on their own card. Off of Steve McCaddy in this. All of this off Baltimore's hitters' cards. And the Orioles have continued their season in the 1-game playoff. It did not disappoint. It was adventuresome. An unorthodox offensive showdown here. We didn't expect this much offense. A 10-6 final. Stewart got the final 2 outs. Stoddard eventually got the final 2 outs after walking 2 guys. Tippy Martinez give up a hit, a double play, and a walk. And actually, the inherited runner is charged to Palmer, who started the eighth inning. So he actually gives up the 6 runs. So Palmer, all those runs were earned as well. And all the hits, 10 hits. So Baltimore's bullpen, really strange line there. Each guy pitched two-thirds of an inning. Gave up a hit and 3 walks. Didn't strike anybody out, but got the 6 outs they needed. Palmer walked a couple, struck out 6. Palmer does get the win. They never lost the lead. Lace in the 8th gave up a hit, an unearned run, and a walk. On some bad Oakland defense today, folks. It wasn't pretty. Beard, 3 up and 3 down. Easterly inning and 2/3 did a nice job, just a walk and a K. But uncharacteristically, Steve McCatty had just a terrible day today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 14 hits. The leading ERA in the American League gave up 8 hits in the 5th inning. I mean, there's not much you can do if you're just going to keep rolling on the batter's card every time. You don't get that 50-50 proposition of alternating hitting cards and pitching cards. Baltimore just did all that, and just kind of worked out. Right place at the right time. 9 runs, all charged to McCatty, sullying up his ERA there. Walked 2, struck out 2. 1019, 0108, 1015, 611. 1015, 611, 5643, 4356. And that is play-in game. We'll call it 8-1 Oakland, Baltimore. First time I've had to have a play-in game in between the end of the season and the wild card round. So this tie-breaking game will finally create the full American League playoff field. Baltimore got stung by the Yankees and they took it out on Oakland. So Baltimore's back to 19-14. And there it is. They are hitting .230 after this event they just played, and they got all those hits. They had 15 for 40. What's 15 for 40? 375. So after hitting 375 in this particular offensive onslaught against Oakland, they're still just hitting .239 for the season. 3 years of this. And you saw a lot of these cards. Baltimore's got 280, 300 hitters throughout their lineup. 265 ERA. Great relief pitching. Offense is led by Ken Singleton with 9 homer, 29 RBI. Baltimore's 19-14. Meanwhile, the Oakland A's have to see their season end. Just did not do enough this year. Probably need one more off season to improve the edges of this roster. They finished 16-13. They are hitting .268 with an ERA of 4. They possibly miss Mike Norris, I'd say. Mike Norris was probably the best pitcher they had in 1980, so they miss him. Tony Armas, though, 14 homers and 37 RBIs, got Oakland within a game of the playoffs, really high on the list of MVP consideration in the American League, hitting .280 with those gaudy numbers. So we can go over here now into the American League. We'll go down to Oakland, and we will dismiss this tie. No longer are they tied. They're 3 games over 500, which is a very nice season. But Baltimore here, you see, they really are dead even with the Yankees. Technically, both teams, if Baltimore are playing in the wild card game, so the Yankees and the Orioles have maybe 1 game left in their seasons if they fail, as the Yankees will have the 1 game against Indians. So that's it tonight. Break up the Orioles. They win the playoff game. They're the number 6 seed. They'll be going to play Milwaukee. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.